Alrighty. Call all Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushua, Bashem, Brakakadash. I want to give all glory and all honor and all praises unto the Most High Heavenly Father, for this very moment. And I want to give a barakatah and a tawada to those who are being diligent inside this truth, and they're doing the best that they can in keeping the commandments of the Most High Heavenly Fathers, as well as carrying on the faith of the Hamashiach Yahushai, who is the Malak, and as always make it known, it's all about the kingdom. So all glory and all honor and all praises be unto the Most High Heavenly Father for this very moment. Shema Mashiach Yahushai. So I know right here, right, as y'all can see, right, I got the book of Sirach chapter 2, and I got highlight verse 1 and 2, Sirach, Ecclesiasticus. But this is not where I want to, where I want to start at. But this right here will connect to what I'm actually, going to share, and where the Spirit is trying to lead me at. Because there is many forms of temptations that will come across. And I'm not talking about what we're dealing with as we're enduring in times like right now. I'm talking about what is to come, you see, because you got Jacob's trouble. You know what I'm saying? Jacob's trouble on the rise. And many of us don't understand how serious those times will actually be. And I'm going to go into it, but at the same time, I'm going to share a video. So I'm going to read, a witness, because let me just read this. Sirach chapter 2, starting at verse 1. My son, if thou comest to serve the Lord, to serve Yahweh Shem Yahushua, right? Prepare thy soul for temptation, right? You want to prepare yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, most importantly, spiritually, right? Verse 2, set thy heart aright and constantly endure and make not haste in time of trouble. You see, we got to constantly endure, because we're being built up, as servants of Yahweh Shem Yahushua to be able to withstand on those days and during those times. All right. So where am I particularly aiming at? In the book, I go to Sirach, the book of 2nd Esdras, right? Chapter 16. And I'm going to start at verse 17. All right, it say, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days, right? The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils, what shall I do when these evils shall come? You see, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendments. You see? So, overall from seeing it, right, the part that I'm really trying to have to stand out is that in verse 17, he said, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? You see? Because that day is not going to be of light, but that day is going to be of darkness. You see? And the more, don't get me wrong. We want to keep the joy of Yahweh Shem Yahushua within us. But at the same time, we want to have a balance with that. And that balance is what's going to help us to stay, vigilant, and, as believers or watchmen, when it comes down to the things that are being established, right now in society. Many want things to go back to the way it used to be, and not realizing that things ain't gonna go back to the way it used to be. And if it was to go back to the way it's going, that it used to be, it's only gonna get worse for Yasharella as a whole. So, I wanted to share that part. But the main part and where I want to stand at, because in those days it's gonna be very, very heavy, and many of us got to meditate on the possibilities and what is to happen. You got things that are being implemented right now where you got men of of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. They got families. You know what I'm saying? They got a rib. They rib. They wife or wives, right? And they got children. And the way how these devils are working right now, they're operating in a way where they're trying to have an agenda that's set up in a way where they're able to, take your children away, or do whatever they want and kick your doors down. You see what I'm saying? And we know these things, will come. And let me go further in verse 20. But for all these things, they should not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourge. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth, right, that they shall think themselves to be good, in a good case. And even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. You see? For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish. of famine, and of other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. So that's making it plain and clear, right? Because all of these are plagues. You know what I'm saying? And these plagues are a part of, an agenda. I mean, it's a part of the agenda that's and I don't want to put it so much like an agenda, but overall the Most High is in control. Yahweh Shem Yahushua is in control. But these evil spirits are let loose amongst the face of the earth. And I got a witness that I want to share too to connect with that. Baba Kushai, and we can get right back to it. The book of Sirach, chapter 39, and starting at verse 28. Right? He said, "There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction," see, the time of destruction, right? "They power out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them." You see? Isaiah chapter 45 and verse 7 makes that known, right? Isaiah chapter 45 and verse 7. And I'm going to go right back to that just to prove all things. All right? Isaiah chapter 45 verse 7. He said, "I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord," talking about Yahweh Shem Yahushua, "do all these things." You see? He do all these things. The things that are of peace and the things that are of evil, the things that are of light and the things that are of darkness. Right? Let me go right back to Sirach. Right? 39 and 28. All right, so you see that all of that he's in control of. So that's why I said at the end of verse 28, "and appease the wrath of him that made them." You see? And watch this, verse 29. "Fire and hell and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance." Right? Verse 30, "Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword, punishing the wicked to destruction." You see? Punishing the wicked to destruction. So all this is dealing with how the Most High has evil spirits, which he have created to be of his vengeance, to be set amongst the wicked. And we see all of this being implemented today. Why? Because if you go to Job, right, chapter 9 and verse 24, right, it says right here, the earth, right, "The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?" So it shows you in these times, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. You see? But by the earth being given into the hand of the wicked, it's basically opening up doors, within ourselves to understand what it truly means to take this walk very seriously. Because as the wickedness is increasing, right, you got evil spirits. Going right back to it, Sirach 39, right? And verse 28. Yeah, that's it. "There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they power out their force," meaning they come in full force, "and appease the wrath of him that made them." You see? And these spirits, evil spirits, they operate behind fire, hell, and famine and death. All these were created for vengeance. You see? Verse 30, "Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword," right? "Punishing the wicked to destruction." Now let's go right back to the book of 2nd Esdras, right? Chapter 16, right? Let's go back into there. It's I believe it was 2nd Esdras 16 and I believe 17. You see? Khan. You see? He said, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death. You see, you're going to have children that's going to be killed. You're going to have babies that's going to be killed. You're going to have elderly women and men that's going to be killed. You got people who are going to be even, of between the 20s and the 30s who are in the early stages of an adulthood. They're going to be getting killed. There's many that's going to be getting wiped out right along with the heathens. Real talk. And majority of the Israelites, those who are our people, who cleave into the ways of the heathens, they're going to end up getting destroyed because they're not prepping their spirits, with the judgments of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Watch this. And great death, You know, great death. It didn't say good death. It said great death. So it's like, it's going to be a lot. The beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to think about it. When all hell breaks loose, it's going to get real heavy. It's going to get real heavy. I'm talking extra heavy. And you know this to be true because if you go inside the book of, where's it at again? The book of Sirach, I believe. Yeah, Sirach, right? It's a verse previously, I believe. Sirach 15, right? Let me see. I believe, check it. Yeah, 15 and verse 17. Let me go down there. Okay, it say a man, right? A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Verse 18, for because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled. The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. So going right back into it in Sirach, chapter 6, not Sirach, 2nd Esdras chapter 16, and starting at verse 17, when he said, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? And in verse 18, it say the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars. See them wars. The war is going to be created out of the fear, right? And the power shall stand in fear. You see? The beginning of wars and the powers shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? You see? And that was in 2nd Esdras chapter 16 and verse 18 with that one. So going on to here, it's saying in verse 18, for because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. You see? Verse 19, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So it's not, you may have somebody, the people coming in, kicking your doors and taking your children away because you're not trying to comply to what they have established for society. And even though they know it's up against your rights, quote unquote, on this land, you see? Everything I'm trying to reveal to the listeners that's watching this video is to help you to understand the only way that we can get out of this situation is by the sure mercies of Yahweh Shem Yahushua.
Morning. Right, I've got some terrible news for everyone. Yesterday we heard that a single father had the police turn up at his house and remove his daughter because he's homeschooling her and he doesn't believe in COVID. They turned up at night, they threatened to kick his door in. They took his daughter, who's 11. And now she's being kept away from him. He doesn't know where she is. This is it. They've called it on. police are coming into our houses and removing our children now. But it's here, people. It's here. They took a man's daughter because he's homeschooling her. He don't believe in COVID. It's game on now. It's game on. So...
Hey, I want to show you Mexican food that originated in West Africa.
You're not Mexicans. You're the tribe of Issachar.